All training is functional. Now, before you start arguing with me, what I would like to say is there's a big caveat that goes along with that statement, because it is a big statement. The caveat is if the training program, not exercises, the training program is working the whole body. Now, let me explain what I mean by functional. The word functional is thrown out a lot. And what does it exactly mean? I don't even know on today's world, but what I'm going to try to explain is it sport specific? Is it functional in your everyday life? Well, I'm going to say it's going to be any of those things. It's going to allow you to function outside the gym in any way better. So if if you are training functionally, that means that your function and anything you do is going to be enhanced because of that functional training. And this is why I say that all training is functional. If the program is head to toe, if you're training your whole body. Now, let me explain. It doesn't matter what style you train. If you get stronger, if what you're doing in the gym isn't just getting you better at in the gym because you're getting stronger, you're not just expressing your strength by lifting more weight. You can do that by getting more skilled with an exercise and not really get your strength greater. If you're building strength, you're going to be able to, as long as you continue doing your functional activities, whether that's a sport, whether that's just moving around, walking, whether that's anything, playing basketball, playing tennis, doing some sort of activity, yoga, it doesn't matter. If I continue to do that and my strength goes up, my body will feel lighter, and so I will be able to function. It'll be easier for me to propel my body forward, whether that's in a jump, in a sprint, in a crossover dribble move. It doesn't matter. I'll be able to function better if I get stronger and I keep my level of skill. Now, what happens with a lot of people is they'll say, well, what you're doing in the gym is hindering what you're doing outside the gym because you're going to be like building muscle and it's going to be blocking you from being able to move the same way. If you don't marry your strength and your size with your skill, that is true. But I want to give you an example. Someone like Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant gained a ton of muscle in one summer because he was sick of getting beat up, all right, by guys. So what did he do? He went and he probably used some performance enhancing, but maybe not. I love Kobe, but what he did was he gained a ton of muscle over the summer. Now, what did Kobe not do? He didn't just train, bodybuild, get bigger. He built muscle. He also continued along with his skill. So he got better, he got stronger, he got more functional because of that training. His muscle, although he gained weight, it was in proportion and his strength went up. You could see this. When people gain muscle, the only way it's not going to be functional is if their strength wasn't proportional or their strength was less proportional. And most of the time it's more, because if you build muscle tissue, you're going to build strength as well. So what do I mean by that? Let's just say I gain 10 pounds. If I gain 10 pounds of muscle, and let's just say I look like I'm not going to be moving as well as I did before when I was wearing, let's just say you're 200 pounds and now you're 210 pounds. Well, if I built the 10 pounds of muscle and my body has expressing strength, my strength has gone up by 20%. Well, what's 10 pounds compared to 200? 2%? Less than 1%? I don't know how we're doing math today, but it's not a big percentage. So if I build strength, and as long as it's proportional or more, and most of the time, like I said, you're gonna get more out of 10 pounds of muscle than you would feel like 210 pounds would feel. So let me try to explain that better. If I'm moving 200 pounds around normally, and I have a certain level of strength, and I build to 210 pounds, the strength that I get usually is going to be more proportionate in regard to 10 pounds. So let's just say I did 10 repetitions of push-ups, all right, at 200 pounds. I'm not going to then go to 210 pounds and do 9 repetitions of push-ups. I'm going to keep the level of strength that I did if I gained 10 pounds. I'm still going to be able to do my 10 push-ups. But if I built strength because it was muscle, I'm going to be able to do 15 push-ups. Now, what's that percentage of strength? If I went from 10 to 15, that's 50%. So if I gain 50% strength and my body gained 10%, 10 pounds of muscle, let's just say it's 2% of my body weight, 50% versus 2% is massive. So if I keep my skill level high, like Kobe did, he kept shooting in the gym. He didn't let that drop. He added his strength training head to toe. If you're missing something in your program, then maybe it's not going to be functional. But if you're continuing to train full body and continuing with your skills, you build strength, you build muscle, you keep your skill, it's going to be functional in any activity. If I'm just sitting down on the toilet, if my body feels lighter because I'm stronger, I'm going to be more functional. It's going to be easier for me to do those things. So although it might seem like someone who's bodybuilding is not very functional, I actually just saw a video of this, and you can look this up. Look up Chris Bumstead, I think that's his name, C-Bum, that guy, bodybuilder. Look at him doing a vertical jump. You think this massive guy, all right, he can't even wipe his own ass. That guy has a really high vertical jump, okay? Now, it's not as high as maybe a gifted athlete like Kobe, but you wouldn't think so looking at someone like that, but he's got the strength and it's functional. It doesn't matter what activity he does. If he continues to do the activities, running, biking, walking, swimming, getting up and down off the toilet seat, if he gets stronger, it will be easier. Another caveat, it's only functional if you don't get hurt in the gym. This is one of the reasons why I don't do quote unquote functional training, because there's a high level of skill that goes involved into it. I want to have the least amount of skill in my training to get the most amount of strength and muscle adaptation. The skills are set for the basketball court, for the running field, for the football pitch, for whatever activity that you want to do. That's where you should be focusing on skills. The strength training side of things, like I said, if my body gets stronger, if I gain a little bit of muscle and I build a bunch of strength, it doesn't matter what activity I do, as long as I keep up with my skills. Like I said, you have to have a full body training program and you have to keep up with your skills if you want it to be functional. But there's no way that just doing a strength training exercise in the gym without keeping up with your skill is going to somehow transfer over to that. Unless if, now here's another caveat, unless if the training that you were doing before you started doing that functional training wasn't addressing certain muscles. And this is what gets back to my first caveat, which is you have to have a sound training program that works you head to toe. Most of the adaptations that people think of as training functionally that give them these benefits that they think transfers over to their activity is because their training program wasn't including that to begin with. So they get this new training program, they went functional, and then they thought that those training, that training was superior, but it was only because their training program before wasn't including certain muscle groups. So let's just say I gave an example before with golf is like training your obliques. Let's just say your training program doesn't have your obliques in there. If you start training some functional movement that incorporates obliques and you falsely attribute it to the functional training, but it really was just because you finally started training your obliques, that's the key. So leave no stone unturned. Train your whole body, whether you're a sprinter, a walker, a kicker, a arm wrestler, it doesn't matter. Train your whole body. If you want you take your body everywhere you go. So take that body in the gym, work it head to toe, bring it into your movements. Try running with your arms tied by your sides. Try kicking something with your arms tied by your sides. You're not going to be as fast. You're not going to kick as far. You need your whole body. So again, leave no stone unturned and your training program will be functional. And it doesn't matter what you do. You can do any training program. It's all functional. If you do it right and if you don't get injured in the gym, as long as you are keeping up with your skills and you're getting stronger because of that gym exercise, you're going to be good. So whatever you do, make sure head to toe, work your whole body, train hard, make sure you're recovering from that stimulus and keep up with other functional activities that you're doing. And it will be functional and it will transfer because your body will be stronger. Your body will feel lighter relatively. Even if I gain 10 pounds of muscle, I might gain a ton more strength. So relatively, I still feel lighter. That's the point of being in the gym. That's the reason why. Some people are going to put on muscle easier. Some people aren't. They're going to build more adaptations with strength. But as long as you are tracking your workouts, improving your strength, hitting it hard, and recovering from that training stimulus, it's going to be functional. That's it for today. I'll see you next time.